Hey everybody, so I wanted to show you a bit of a trick, a way to kind of isolate the adjustments that you can make using your adjustment layers, but instead of affecting the entire image, of only affecting part of it. So um, let's take a look at this image overall that I want to use. And I took this photo on a pretty overcast day. I've already applied some destructive edits to it in terms of adjusting the overall tone and contrast of the image. And I want to kind of lighten up the sign because this is really the central focus of the image that I'm going for. So I'm going to zoom back in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of my selection tools to select this rectangular sign. We're going to be dealing with selection tools more in depth with the final project. You'll be doing some exercises using the selection tools, but you know, there's no reason to wait in terms of if there's something that you can adjust using these, then why not use them? So here we have the marquee tool menu, which if you click on the little tab in the corner, there's a rectangular marquee tool and an elliptical marquee tool. This is your lasso tool beneath it, lasso tool, and you have your polygonal lasso tool and your magnetic lasso tool. And I'm going to go over all of these more in depth once we get to the final, but and just kind of give you a general overview of what they do now. So a lasso tool is really good for kind of selecting organically shaped objects. Polygonal lasso tool is really good if you have something that is kind of hard-edged and angular, like if I was going to select, you know, this shape here. You know, that's not a very good selection, but it just gives you an idea of what it does. And then to get rid of the selection, I hit Command D, deselect. And then my quick selection tool is kind of like the magician's wand of selection tools in Photoshop, where I can just go in and as I move my brush around, the tool kind of anticipates the pixels that I want to select. But I'm not going to use that tool for this selection, so I'm going to hit deselect, and I'm just going to use my rectangular marquee tool because this is a rectangle, and why not just have Photoshop do a majority of the work for me? So I have my sign selected. I'm going to go over to my adjustments, and I'm going to hit the brightness and contrast adjustment layer. And you'll see in your layers panel that you have this layer that is now a mask. So what we're affecting with this adjustment is only the sign. Everything else is blacked out and is not being affected. So now, you know, I can like really, you know, this is way too bright. It looks unnatural, but you can see that it only affects that. Same with, you know, contrast. If I like up the contrast, it looks really unnatural. So you don't want to push things too much when you do these kind of isolated adjustments, because you don't want it to look like a sticker on your image. You don't want it to look so out of place. But it is a way to just kind of lighten things up or darken things or change the saturation or the color just a little bit to make something stand out, you know, a little bit more. So that's a trick that you can use. Again, you have these selection tool options and you're creating masks by doing that. Any other adjustment layer that I would add over top, like let's go to, you know, hue and saturation, is going to affect the entire image, including the mask. So that's just something to be aware of. Okay.